This is an exclusive conversation with Ambassador John Herbst. He is a Senior Director of the Atlantic Council, the Eurasia Center of the Atlantic Council. Thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. You are in Odessa in Ukraine as we speak. We are going to discuss the Russia-Ukraine war, but before that, if you could just describe what's happening in Odessa, how are things, what's the situation on the ground, sir?
Well, there have been certainly over the past month and a half or so, as their effort by the Trump team to have negotiated a ceasefire, savage Russian air attacks using Iranian drones and missiles from Russia and from North Korea. And Odessa has been one of the principal targets. So civilians have died in recent days, children. But last night, while there was an air raid, there was not much incoming. But and again, the last few days, dreadful, absolutely dreadful. But the Ukrainians here are not going to submit to Russian terror because they know that being occupied Russia is far worse than being bombarded by Russia.
Right. We'll talk about the details of where the peace deal is headed, so on and so forth. But the latest, the fact that there was a neutral venue that was being chosen, Russia has been hesitant about Vatican. What's your take on the United States of America mediating peace between Russia and Ukraine, which could be rather compromised for Ukraine?
It's a little bit complicated. President Trump made clear, even during our presidential election last year, after he was elected and after he became president for the second time, that he wanted to achieve an end to the fighting, a durable end to the fighting, that required significant compromises from both Ukraine and Russia. And President Zelensky of Ukraine has demonstrated multiple times since certainly March 18, when he agreed to a general ceasefire, that he's willing to make serious compromises. And the Kremlin has made clear multiple times it is unwilling to make any serious compromises. President Trump had said multiple times that he's going to offer ideas for a reasonable peace, a durable peace, and if one or both of the sides refuse those terms, he would put major pressure on them. Ukraine's accepted the terms, although despite that, Trump put some pressure, serious pressure on Ukraine back in early March. Russia has refused to make any compromises, and Trump has been reluctant to put pressure on Russia. And that's a problem because it makes Trump look weak. And also, Trump is now running into some criticism from his own supporters for looking weak in connection with a very aggressive Kremlin.
Also, he wanted the entire peace be brought about within 24 hours. That was not to be a realization much later, that it takes much longer to bring about peace between two warring factions, particularly countries like Russia and Ukraine. Ambassador Herbst.
Again, I think Trump truly wants to see a permanent end to the fighting. He's come up with a proposal which is reasonable, albeit it would still leave, unfortunately, millions of Ukrainians under a very savage Russian occupation. But the Ukrainians have demonstrated a willingness to accept this if security measures that Trump himself has proposed become enacted, like the deployment of European troops to Ukraine, like major Western American arms flows to Ukraine, because that would prevent Russia from future aggression. And Ukraine is willing to accept it. But Putin does not want to annoy Trump, but he also refuses to accept Trump's ideas for peace. So he's trying to stall the negotiations. And some supporters of Trump, some friends of Trump, have recognized this. And they think that Trump has to fulfill his pledge to put serious pressure on the party that blocks an end to this war. And that party is certainly the Kremlin.